Welcome to the People's Court. I am Chris, that is Lamont, and today we are going to be your judges in a very interesting case, a case that we are calling George Gervin versus the Guinness Book of World Records. George Gervin recently had his points scored in a single quarter record broken by Klay Thompson, and wants to bring this case forward by asking, are record books guilty of not identifying the three-point era in NBA scoring records? Amon, I'll let you kind of set the scene here about why this case is interesting and why we brought it up in the first place.
So, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? Klay Thompson went off. He, in the third quarter, it doesn't even matter who they were. Sacramento is who they were playing. Not that it matters. He just went off and could not miss a shot. I think you've got his numbers right
Got
there.
him on the screen right now.
Got him on the screen right now. He went 13 for 13, including a perfect 9 for 9 from the three-point line. Made both of his free throws, scoring 37 points in a single quarter, breaking George Gervin's record as we can see. Somebody, I forget who, from Bleacher Report called George to ask him how he felt, and he basically said, he doesn't feel that Klay Thompson broke his record. He feels that he set a new record, noting that when he scored 33 in a quarter, the NBA did not have a three-point line. Klay has the benefit of the three-point line now. So he feels like he's also in the Guinness Book of World Records, and he feels that if they add Klay Thompson to this list, they should put an asterisk saying something to the effect of played with three-point line. And the NBA's official scoring records and all that stuff, they don't distinguish between eras. They don't note that after 1980, the players have had a three-point line, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think Gervin brings up a really interesting point here. When I initially saw the headline, it read, Gervin doesn't think Thompson broke record. And I rolled my eyes. I was like, oh, what the hell's Gervin going to say now? How could you deny that Thompson scored more points in a quarter than he did? But he brings up an interesting point, saying that, hey, when I set the record, I did it without a three-point line. And his sentiments were, could Klay Thompson have done this without a three-point line? So it's an interesting point. I think it's worth merit a discussion. Should record books then, for all of the scoring records, not just this points in the quarter, but for all of them, just maybe have two, maybe have one record for before the three-point line was introduced, and then one for after.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And, the big scoring record would be the all-time scoring. Wilt Chamberlain set that, and then was first passed by Kareem, Karl Malone, and was first passed by Kareem, Karl Malone, Michael Jordan, and this season Kobe Bryant. Three of those guys played their entire careers with the three-point line, and Kareem played half of his career with the three-point line. I don't think he ever shot that many threes, even when it was available to him. So it is an interesting point. But as you said in our pre-show meeting, the NBA is constantly changing rules. The way the game is constantly changing rules, trying to distinguish between those eras would be impossible. Would make the Guinness Book of World Records would triple the length of it. By the way, there was a three-point line. Oh, by the way, we changed the way we called continuation. By the way, technical fouls used to be 2 free throws, now they're not. So no. I'm gonna say that the Guinness Book of World Records is innocent of this.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, Lamont. And here's the thing, you can't take away from Thompson's performance by putting an asterisk next to his name in the record books. This man went 13 for 13 from the field. Didn't miss a three-pointer, didn't miss a shot, didn't miss a free throw, and scored 37 points in a quarter. We've never seen anything like that in a game before.
No, no,
You
never.
know, for a player to get that hot, I think it's more impressive that he made 9 out of 9 threes than whatever George Gervin may have done to get his 33 points.
Right. And if
You can't distinguish. I mean, guys that play with certain rules, they can't change the rules that they played under. I mean, that's just the era that they lived in, that they played in. And you know, Gervin, to his credit, scored 33 points in a quarter, which, I mean, it broke David Thompson's previous record. He broke Will Chamberlain's previous record, and that record stood despite the fact that there was a three-point line. That record stood
for
for
almost
37 years.
for almost 30,
Almost 37 years.
almost 37 years.
So the fact that the NBA introduced the three-point line didn't make his record fall immediately. It still took a long time before somebody was able to come across and break it.
Correct. And here's one more fact that I feel is important for the people to know and for George Gervin himself to remember. George Gervin played a total of 14 professional basketball seasons. He played in the ABA for 5 seasons, and then there was the merger, and he played in the NBA for the remaining 9 seasons. You know how many years he played without, how many of those seasons he played without a three-point line? 3. A grand total of 3. Because guess where the NBA got the idea for the three-point line? The ABA. So the first part of his career, he had the three-point line. For a couple of seasons after the merger, he didn't. And then the NBA introduces the three-point line in the 1979-80 season, and until he retires, he plays with the three-point line again. Like I mentioned before, the way the game is played has changed. Players didn't really use the three-point line the way it is used now. When for example, George Gervin, the most three-pointers George Gervin ever took in one season was 102. And you said before we went on air, or before in the pre-show, that Wesley Matthews had already made that many. So the game,
West. I mean, now, I bet Wesley
Matthews,
Klay Thompson, Steve Curry, all these guys have already made more than Gervin ever attempted.
So if he wants to say that he scored 33 without the three-point line, he needs to also remember that he played for most of his career. He played with the three-point line, but it wasn't. The game was played a lot differently than it is now, and neither way is necessarily right or wrong. But that's just the way it is.
Yeah. So even though he had the three-point line at his disposal, he wasn't able to break his own record. It just shows you how tough of a record it is to break. And if anybody can do it, no matter what the circumstances are, that person deserves to be in the record books and not have an asterisk next to their name. So I think we're both in agreement here. Guinness Book and any other record books that would have Thompson as the record holder, all innocent of not distinguishing between three-point era and post-three-point era in their record keeping. If you disagree with us or agree with us, or if you just want to yell at us for any other reason, please do so by hitting us up on Twitter at People's Court FM. Give us a call. Leave us a message. We'd love to hear your voice. The number is 424-ADJOURN. That's 424-235-7633. Check out our blog as well, http://thepeoplescourt.fm, where on a football Sunday, because we're recording this on Super Bowl Sunday, Lamont recently said that he might consider giving up football following today's game. So check that out if you want to know why. And with that, court is adjourned.